Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the power steering pump on this 1966 Pontiac GTO. And the items that you'll need for this is a 5/8 inch and 11/16 inch flare wrench, a 1/2 inch and 9/16 inch wrench, a 7/8 inch socket and impact driver, a drip pan, and a flat blade screwdriver.
So the first step is going to be to disconnect the lines from the pump to the steering box. And I've got a flare wrench, it's 11/16 and 5/8. And I'm going to do the pressure line first. And I have I've got a drip pan underneath, because as soon as I do this, it's going to squirt out fluid. Two 9/16 wrenches, and you're going to want to loosen this up here and loosen this here. You're going to loosen this one here too. Once you do that, the pump should move around. Alright, so you can see that we've got it loosened up, but the way this is designed, the alternator is actually hitting it. So you want to loosen up this 1/2 inch bolt here, and then there's a 9/16 bolt right here. Loosen those two up, and then the alternator will move out of the way.
Pull your belt off the power steering pulley.
So now to get the pump out, just remove the 3 bolts that you loosened up to move it. So take off this nut and bolt, remove this nut here, and remove this bolt that you've already loosened up down here. Alright, so I've got this loosened up. I'll loosen up the bolt that holds the bottom of the alternator a little bit more as well. You can see that the pump is now kind of almost falling down. Take the spacer off the back, and there probably isn't much left in here. Let's dump that out so that it doesn't come out. 7/8. You'll want an impact wrench. Take that bolt off, and then hope your comes off easily. And now you want to remove these 4 9/16 bolts to get the bracket off. You can see our return line's in pretty rough shape. All we're going to need to do is save this fitting, which is a matter of loosening up this clamp and pulling the fitting off. We're going to remove our pressure line. This is a 5/8 flare wrench.
Our hoses have the original style pinch clamps on them, so we have actually the special pliers to use them. You pinch onto them and twist them, and that breaks the clamp. and we'll use those as well when we reinstall it.
And to get the fitting free, if you're replacing this hose, then you just want to cut it and pull the fitting out.
Okay, so our new pump, we install, this is the return line, and the owner of this car wants everything back together the way it's supposed to be. So this is actually original GM return line. Back on, the original style pinch clamp. Take the plug out of here, and we'll just start our line in because we want it flexible, and we'll tighten it up once it's all in the car. Just put it on so it still moves. Okay, so on a 66 pump, you can see these three holes are on one plane, and this hole is raised up a little bit, so the bracket only goes on one way. These are the correct bolts, the right markings. We've had this car since '67, so we know everything is pretty much correct on it. So the pulley has a keyway in it. Put it on, move around a little bit. Washer goes down on, and the bolt is a locking style bolt. Set my impact wrench for its lowest torque setting. Alright, so put it back down in. This little washer is supposed to go on like that. Okay. Make sure the bracket kind of gets out of your way. Put this in. Let's see. Work it in, that stud goes through.
Fast forward as I install that nut, and then the bolt, the nut and bolt at the bottom that hold the pump in place. And basically, you want to tighten everything up just firm so you can still move around and adjust the pump once you put the belt back on.
Okay, so we've got everything snug, so the pump will still move around. So let's put the belt on. Make sure it's on the water pump pulley and down on the crank pulley. And then feed it up onto the power steering pump. And you want to pull on the power steering pump. You want to be able to move the belt up and down about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to pull on it and then tighten up this bolt here. Okay, so there's actually a little tooth right here. You can put a pry bar in. I'm going to push on the pry bar, loosen up the nut again a little bit. Put some tension on the pry bar. You don't want to make them too tight because you wear out your water pump quicker. Putting some tension on the pry bar and tighten it. Alright, so now I'm just going to tighten up the other two bolts that hold it.
Once you have your power steering pump in place, then the alternator, get the belt back on, pull on the alternator to tighten the belt and tighten the two bolts that hold the alternator.
Okay, so you can't really hook this up incorrect because one fitting is larger than the other, but the larger line goes towards the inside of the car. And you want to make sure that you route this one up here, you want to go right in between where this is wide and this bolt. So you have as little heat as possible. I'm getting close to that line.
And make sure you check and tighten up the other end of the line as well.
Okay, and here's our low pressure line fitting. Okay, so we're going to put a clamp on it. Clamp. Put the hose down on the fitting. And then figure out how we can get the pliers down here. Now we can fill the reservoir. And don't overfill it.
Okay, after you fill it once, start the vehicle up, shut it off, fill it again. Probably repeat that twice until you can move the steering wheel easily. Then run the steering wheel back and forth a couple times, top it off again, drive it some, and just check it the first few times you drive it and make sure it's filled up. We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.